Hey learners, welcome back to the English Leap podcast, your cozy place to learn easy English through real-life conversations. I'm Anna.
And I'm Jake. And today's topic is one that sounds very practical, very simple, almost like something you would read on a productivity blog at 7 in the morning.
Yes, morning routine. Very organized, very responsible.
Very responsible. And I know what some of you are thinking right now. I am not a morning person.
I was thinking exactly that.
Most people are thinking exactly that.
But here is the thing. Today's episode is not really about waking up at 5 in the morning and doing 100 things before breakfast.
No cold showers, no meditation for 45 minutes.
No green juice.
Definitely no green juice.
Today, we are talking about something more realistic, more human, a morning routine that actually helps you improve your English without making your morning feel like a punishment.
Yes, because the morning is actually a very powerful time for learning, and most people do not use it that way at all.
They use it for scrolling.
We all use it for scrolling.
Yes, but today we want to talk about what is possible instead, what a morning could look like if you gave just a little of it to your English.
And the results might genuinely surprise you.
And because this is the English Leap podcast, we are doing all of this through natural, real English conversation. This is a B1 level episode today, so the language will be a little simpler, a little more accessible, but still rich and natural.
Yes, so if you are at an intermediate level, this episode is perfect for you. And if you are more advanced, it is still great listening practice. Just stay with us and enjoy the conversation.
And later in the episode, we will look at some useful words and expressions from today, so make sure you stay for that part too.
And before we begin, if this podcast helps you learn English in a way that feels natural and enjoyable, please like the episode, subscribe to the channel, and join the English Leap family.
We would also love to hear from you. Do you have a morning routine? Does it include any English practice? Tell us in the comments. Short or long, we always love reading your words. All right, let's begin.
So let's start with a question. Why the morning specifically? Why not the afternoon or the evening?
Yes, good question. Because a lot of people do study English in the evening, after work, after dinner.
And there is nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all. But the morning has some specific qualities that make it really good for language learning.
The first one is that your brain is fresh. You have just rested. You have not yet spent the whole day making decisions, solving problems, dealing with people.
Yes, your mental energy is at its highest in the morning, for most people.
And language learning needs mental energy. It needs attention. It needs the part of your brain that is open and ready to absorb new things.
And by the evening, that part is often a little tired.
A little tired is sometimes very generous. Sometimes it is completely exhausted.
Yes, by 9 in the evening, you sit down to study and your brain says, please, not now.
Please, I have done so much today.
Exactly. So the morning gives you a brain that is actually ready to receive new information.
The second quality of the morning is that it belongs to you. Before the emails, before the messages, before other people's needs and requests arrive.
Yes, the morning is quiet in a way that the rest of the day often is not.
And that quiet is valuable because learning needs a little space, a little calm. It does not happen well in chaos.
And the third quality is consistency. If you attach your English practice to something you already do every morning, like making coffee or eating breakfast, it becomes part of your routine naturally.
Yes, you do not have to find the time. You already have the time. You just use it a little differently.
So what does this actually look like? What can you do in the morning to improve your English, and how much time does it actually take?
Yes, because I think people imagine that a good morning routine for English requires 1 hour minimum.
At least 1 hour, probably 2.
And then they never start because they do not have 2 hours.
But that is not the reality at all.
No, even 15 minutes in the morning can make a real difference over time. The key is not the length. The key is the consistency.
15 minutes every morning is much more powerful than 2 hours once a week.
Much more powerful. Because language learning loves repetition. It loves regular contact. It does not love big, intense sessions followed by long silence.
So let's talk about what you can actually do in those 15 minutes.
Or even 10. 10 is fine too.
10 is absolutely fine.
The first thing you can do is listen. Just listen to English in the morning while you're doing something else.
While you make your coffee, while you get dressed, while you eat breakfast.
Yes, put on a podcast in English, an English learning podcast like this one, or even a podcast about a topic you enjoy in English.
And just let it play. You don't have to understand every word, you don't have to take notes, just let the English enter your ears.
And this does something very important. It wakes up the English part of your brain before your day begins.
Yes, it's like stretching before exercise. You're preparing your language muscles for the day.
Oh, I like that. Language muscles.
They exist, they really do.
And the more you use them, the stronger they get.
The second thing you can do in the morning is read, just a little. Not a whole book, not a long article.
Something short, something manageable.
Yes, maybe one short news article in English, maybe a few paragraphs from a book you enjoy, maybe even just the headlines.
The goal is not to read a lot. The goal is to read something real, something written for real purposes by real people.
Yes, because that kind of reading shows you how English actually works in natural contexts, not just in textbook exercises.
And reading in the morning when your brain is fresh means you absorb it better. You notice more. You remember more.
And if you come across a word you don't know, don't have to stop and look up every single one. Just notice it. Let it sit with you. If you see it again, look it up then.
Yes, your brain is actually very good at picking up meaning from context. Trust it a little.
The third thing you can do is speak. And I know this one makes people nervous.
Very nervous. Speaking alone in the morning feels a little strange.
It does feel strange, but it works.
Yes, because speaking is a skill, and like any skill, it needs practice. Regular, consistent practice. Not just when you were in a classroom or when you feel ready.
So what do you actually say?
You can describe your morning, out loud, in English. Simple things. I woke up at 7. I made coffee. It is cold today. I'm a little tired, but I feel okay.
Very simple.
Very simple.
But that simplicity is not a weakness. That simplicity is the foundation.
Yes, because fluency does not come from learning complicated sentences. It comes from making simple sentences automatic, so natural that you do not have to think about them.
And speaking to yourself in the morning helps make those simple sentences feel natural and comfortable.
You can also try something called shadowing. This is when you listen to a sentence in English and then repeat it immediately, copying the rhythm, the sounds, the natural flow.
Yes, shadowing is one of the most effective techniques for improving pronunciation and natural speech patterns.
And you can do it in the morning with any audio, a podcast, a video, even a song.
A song is actually wonderful for this.
Because music makes the rhythm of the language feel natural in a very organic way.
And the fourth thing, which is maybe the most underrated of all, is review. Taking just 5 minutes to look back at something you already learned.
Yes, a word you learned yesterday, a phrase from last week's podcast, a grammar point you studied recently.
Because one of the biggest problems in language learning is forgetting. You learn something, you feel good, and then 3 days later, it is gone.
Yes, and this happens because of something called the forgetting curve. Our brains naturally let go of information that is not repeated. It's just how memory works.
But if you review something regularly, especially just before you are about to forget it, the memory becomes much stronger each time.
So 5 minutes of review in the morning can save you from relearning the same things over and over again.
And it also builds confidence because you see that you actually do know things. You have actually learned things. And that is a very good feeling to start the day with. So to put it all together, a morning English routine does not have to be long or complicated.
No, it can be as simple as this. 10 to 15 minutes. That is all.
5 minutes of listening while you make your coffee, 5 minutes of reading something short, and 5 minutes of speaking out loud or reviewing something you know.
That is it.
That is genuinely it.
And if you do that every morning, 5 days a week, that's about 50 minutes of English practice every week without finding extra time, without changing your schedule dramatically.
Just using the morning a little more intentionally.
And over weeks and months, that adds up to something real, something you can feel in your confidence, in your comprehension, in the way English starts to feel more natural and less like a foreign thing.
Because it stops being foreign when it becomes part of your daily life. And the morning is a beautiful place to start that.
And now let's slow down and look at some of the key words and expressions from today's episode.
Yes, let's begin. First, accessible. If something is accessible, it is easy to reach, use, or understand. It is available to everyone, not just experts or advanced learners. For example, a B1 level episode is more accessible for intermediate learners. Or, the library made their online resources more accessible to everyone. Repeat, accessible.
Accessible. Next, absorb. To absorb something means to take it in and keep it, like a sponge takes in water. When you absorb information, your brain receives and holds it. For example, the morning is a great time to absorb new English because your brain is fresh and ready. Or, children absorb new languages much faster than adults in many ways. Repeat, absorb.
Absorb. Next, consistency. Consistency means doing something regularly over time without stopping, not perfectly, but reliably. For example, the key to improving your English is not long sessions, but consistency every day. Or, his consistency in practice was what made him so confident over time. Repeat, consistency.
Consistency. Next, context. Context means the situation or information that surrounds something and helps you understand its meaning. For example, reading real texts helps you see how words work in natural context. Or, the meaning of a word often becomes clear from the context around it. Repeat, context.
Context. Next, shadowing. Shadowing is a language learning technique where you listen to someone speaking and immediately repeat what they say. You copy the rhythm, sounds, and natural flow. For example, shadowing is one of the most effective ways to improve your pronunciation and natural speech patterns. Or, she used shadowing every morning with her favorite podcast, and her speaking improved significantly. Repeat, shadowing.
Shadowing. Next, forgetting curve. The forgetting curve is the natural way our brains lose information over time if we do not review it. The longer we wait, the more we forget. For example, because of the forgetting curve, reviewing something regularly is much more effective than studying it once and moving on. Or, understanding the forgetting curve changed the way she approached her vocabulary study completely. Repeat, forgetting curve.
Forgetting curve. And finally, comprehension. Comprehension means the ability to understand something. In language learning, it means how well you understand what you hear or read. For example, regular morning practice improves your comprehension over time in a very natural way. Or, his reading comprehension improved significantly after just a few months of daily practice. Repeat, comprehension.
Comprehension. And those were the key words and expressions from today's episode.
And if there's one thing we hope you take from today, it is this. You do not need more time to improve your English. You need to use the time you already have a little more intentionally.
The morning is waiting for you. Quiet, fresh, and full of possibility.
Even 10 minutes, even 5. Start there. Start small and let the consistency do the rest over time.
Because every morning you choose English, you're choosing to grow. And that choice made again and again will take you further than you think.
Take care of yourselves. This is Anna.
And this is Jake.
And you have been listening to the English Leap podcast. Bye.
Bye.